motivation, the magic that we all think is required for us to be able to go and achieve our goals. When you think about motivation, you think about individuals that are, amped up, ready to go. They've got a very fiery spirit. They're attacking their goals on a daily basis. That's what some people think motivation should be. You have individuals every single year when it comes to their New Year's resolution, they might have a bunch of different goals and they definitely feel motivated. For example, they might want to go to the gym. That time throughout the year, you do see a lot of people in the gym. You see a lot of new faces, trying to improve their fitness, improve their physique and, their physical aesthetic. As weeks go by, you don't really see those same individuals anymore. Now, you might be curious as to think, why does this happen? It might have happened to you, it's happened to me in the past. And that's because motivation is something that you can't necessarily rely on when it comes to achieving your goals and your ambitions. And why is that? Because motivation is a feeling. It's not consistent. You might feel motivated one day and you might not feel motivated the next day. That's just how it goes. So if you're using motivation now as the fuel to be able to go ahead and then, carry out your day-to-day tasks, what happens? Your performance on one day might be great because you might feel amped up, you might feel ready to go. And then on the next day, your performance might have a slip up. Why? Because you might not be feeling motivated. Motivation is, just another human emotion. It's something that goes up and down. And again, it's not something that you can necessarily rely on to be able to achieve your goals. So what can you rely on then to be able to help you achieve your goals and fuel your drive and your ambition and help you carry out the day-to-day tasks that you need to carry out to be able to achieve your goals? And you might have heard a lot of people talk about it, but what I'm referring to is discipline. Discipline is a habit. It's something that you build up over time. Discipline essentially is an individual carrying out the tasks that they need to carry out regardless of the emotional state. So that means whether or not you feel as if you want to do that task, you still go ahead and you get that task done. So that means you go to the gym on the days you feel motivated, and you also go to the gym on the days where you don't really feel like it. It's as simple as that. And over time, you consistently build up this habit and you build up this muscle referred to as discipline. And as time goes by, it does get easier and easier. That's why a lot of people might tell you when they first started going to the gym, it was quite difficult. But once they got into the routine and the habit and they built that discipline of going to the gym regardless of whether or not they feel like it, it became a lot easier because they started relying on discipline, which has no relevancy to their emotions and how they feel on that specific particular day. So when it comes to achieving your goals, you've got the first stage, which is, being motivated, that initial emotion that you might have towards the start of being excited and anticipating achieving your goals. And then you move on to the next stage, which you'll find, which is discipline, which is carrying out those tasks on a day-to-day basis, regardless of how you feel. And then you move on to the final stage, which, if you've been doing this consistently for a decent amount of time, for a sustained period of time, you might reach this stage, and it's called obsession. Obsession now is when, you live and breathe the daily tasks that's required of you to achieve your goals. So for example, you might be someone who goes to the gym every single day without fail, someone who tracks their diet and their nutrition on a daily basis without fail, someone who's always researching new ways and new methods to build different parts of their physique, someone who's always learning, reading, watching videos based on building their physique, building their body, building their stamina, building their fitness, so on and so forth. You will see that these individuals tend to carry out the necessary requirements on a day-to-day basis that's required of them. And you tend to see that these individuals carry out the day-to-day requirements that they need throughout a sustained period of time. And you see that they're very successful in whatever it is that they're trying to achieve already, or you see that they've hit quite a few milestones in that aspect and in that regard. So as mentioned, motivation is the initial stage you might have when it comes to pursuing a new goal. It doesn't last, it doesn't stay for long. You'll have the emotion, will have its highs and its lows. And then to further sustain pursuing that goal, you will need to rely on discipline, which is carrying out the daily tasks regardless of how you feel. And then hopefully, if you're lucky, towards the end, you will reach the stage where you are obsessed now, carrying out the day-to-day tasks every single day without fail, because you like how it feels, because it gives you a great feeling, because it helps you feel amazing, and you live and you breathe it, and it's something that's just part of your daily life, your daily routine and structure.